Mi gente, ¿qué pasa? Hello, hello, and happy terrific Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Hoy en Día TV. Bienvenidos. I am your host, Yancy Rodriguez, and I'm going to bring on my co-host, Nadine. Nadine Barton, the author. Yes, entrepreneur veteran. Welcome to the stage.
¿Cómo
Bienvenida.
estás? Hola, beautiful.
Hello, hello. ¿Cómo
Oh,
estás, Nadine? How are
I
you?
am amazing, with the exception of I feel a headache coming on, but you know what? I rebuke it in the name of Jesus.
Rebuke. No headache. No, 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 no.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, hey, another terrific Thursday. I'm so happy to know that you are doing well. Things on my end are good as well. Having a great productive week. Can't complain, right? Pushing forward. But yeah, here we are pushing forward. Yes.
One
So
more day
Nadine,
to Friday.
what'd you say, hon?
One more day to Friday.
Oh yeah, Friday, viernes. Do you have any fun plans coming up for the weekend?
Another book signing.
Good job. Look at you with all these book signings. That is beautiful. Praise God. Yes.
Gotta do
Yes.
what I have to do, my dear.
Oh yeah, definitely. Gotta do what you gotta do for sure. For sure. So we have some really amazing topics that we've been pondering on here, and it's interesting. A lot of the things happening in the world today. We also have two special guests with us that are going to be joining. And so this is going to be another show that you don't want to miss. No te lo pierdas, because you're going to be amazed. So Nadine, trending topic. I'm not sure if you know, but I didn't really know until I came across it recently. And then me being the journalist that I am, I started digging a little deep. So apparently back in May, the state of North Carolina experienced an issue with it was the NCDOR experienced an unexpected shutdown where the business went out. The NC print vendor, there you go. The print vendor for NCDOR unexpectedly went out of business. And so what does that mean, right? That means that people, taxpayers, anyone receiving a refund or expected to receive a refund, your check is delayed. Also, if you owe the state of North Carolina money, you're not getting that notice, but I did call them just to get a feel for what's happening. Like, I saw this. Is this true? What's happening? And so my phone call to the NCDOR, the rep that helped me, I asked her these questions, and I told her, I was like, well, are you all considering that these people, whoever owes money, they're not getting a notice? So what's happening? Are you going to pause the interest? Are you going to, like, what's happening? And she says, no, they're not pausing the interest. They're still going to incur interest in the background. And possibly late penalties. I'm not sure. That's really at the discretion of the state. At that point, they were saying that late penalties may be in play, but today is a different date and time. And I called about 2 weeks ago. So just be mindful for you all who are either expected to receive a refund. More than 300,000 taxpayers that are awaiting a refund are being affected. Also, individuals who owe money, you're still going to incur that interest. So I would highly encourage you, carve out some time, call them, get that all settled and squared away if you haven't already. Because behind the scenes, you don't want to get surprised with an unexpected bill for higher than what you assumed you had to pay for
Wow.
tax. So, yeah, what are your thoughts about that? Nadine, you good? You froze. I think I lost you.
Yeah, it was frozen for a minute. I'm like, what's going on here?
You're back. I see you.
Yes, I'm here. The screen had went black for a minute, and I was like, what's going on here?
You gotta love technology. Or it could just be that powers that be don't want me to talk about this conversation. But guess what? I'm going to bring it up because people need to know. And I'm that light. I make sure y'all know. So any thoughts about that, Nadine?
That's pretty interesting, because especially for the mere fact that they're not getting their notices, and people, they're going to be thinking, oh, I didn't know anything this year, getting all excited, but they need a call. I mean, and especially if they're not watching the news, So just like how you called and you got the information, I mean, they should do the same.
Absolutely.
And that was only for North Carolina, right?
As of now, from what I'm aware of, yeah, it says North Carolina. And So I agree with you. People, if you all owe money, please call because I don't want you all to be surprised, get a higher bill than what you thought you owed. That's going to be not fun, right? Nadine,
Exactly.
you mentioned that you came across information about some recalls for food.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So apparently, there's been recalls for like tomatoes, cucumbers, saltine crackers. So all these food that you think you eat every day. And I just went to the farmer's market last week and I bought cucumbers and tomatoes. So, and when people get sick, like I get all these headaches sometimes, you're wondering what happened, what's going on, why am I getting sick? And they cannot get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? So, let me see what else. Did you find anything else on your end? Let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up because here says fresh tomatoes is affecting the state of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia.
Georgia.
So Williams Farm Repack LLC and H&C Farms issued a Class 1 recall for fresh tomatoes distributed between April 23rd through the 28th in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. The tomatoes tested positive for salmonella, which can cause very serious GI tract illnesses. So consumers are advised to not consume these. And you know what's really interesting? As I'm reading this, it boggles my mind because this recall happened back in April, but we're in June, and the shelf life for tomatoes are very short, which means
Right.
that at this point, people would have eaten them already. So that really bothers me that they're waiting all this time just to report out on this when you should have done that initially from the get go. Like, that's not fair at all.
Exactly.
That is not cool at all. So please, vendors who do packaging and all that, please do better. Like put yourself in the shoes of these families and these consumers. If this was your family consuming these products, you would want to know right away, and not almost 2 months later that the tomatoes we bought at the store 2 months ago, almost 2 months ago, were bad. Like, come on now. Really?
But
Go.
here's the thing. A few months ago, and I promise you that I cannot, don't quote me, I cannot remember the product, but it was on recall and I went to Publix and I saw it on the shelf and I went to one of the managers. I pulled him to the side politely where nobody was, could hear the conversation. And I'm like, I was just literally, looking at this before I left the house that there's a recall on this product, but it's still on the shelf. And her response was, usually they get the email and the alert right away. And he checked the email or she checked the email and there it was.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting to me.
Mhm.
Oh gosh. Dinty Moore beef stew. I remember growing up eating a lot of the beef stew for Dinty Moore and I loved it. And so surprisingly enough, there's a recall for that as well. Hormel Foods recalled approximately 256,000 pounds of Dinty Moore beef stew, the 20-ounce cans. And on the label, if it says Best by February 2028, look at also the lot. So I found a lot code here, letter T 02045, due to possible contamination with pieces of wood. Ooh. This is a class 1 recall indicating a high health risk. So consumers are advised not to consume the product and return it to the place of purchase. So hopefully you all haven't eaten your Dinty Moore beef stew yet, but
Oh
if you
wow.
haven't, highly recommend you to take it back to the store and get your money back. That is not cool.
Here's another one, the Firehook Classic Sea Salt Organic Crackers. So it says recall due to undeclared sesame posing a risk to individuals with sesame allergies. The affected product is an 8-ounce clear plastic package with a best by date of September 29, 2025.
Wow. Wow. That is. Hmm. So I will say this. The other day I went to the store and I saw equipment like the like gardening equipment, right? So like the little pots and dirt and seeds. And I went ahead and I purchased it and I started planting. So I say that to say, families, that'll be a fun activity for you to do with your kids. And also, it'll be a good way to start helping your families get healthier versus going to the store. Now you have fresh vegetables and fruits in your backyard.
So you're
Or
gonna have
even
a
if
whole farm in your backyard, huh, Yessie?
Girl, I'm gonna figure it out and make something work here. I know there's like little like a shelf where it's like a little stair, and then you fit the different pots so that way it can get enough sunlight. Like if you put it outside, and so there's different ways to make things work if you want to make it work, pretty much. But
That's true.
I highly encourage people to consider that because it's scary nowadays where we feel like we can't even go to the grocery store because it's like a gamble with our the foods that we're buying, and then we're consuming that. And like you mentioned, Nadine, it has serious health issues where people might get headaches, they might feel nauseous. The example that I read earlier, where it's going to cause people serious GI tract illnesses, like that's scary.
Yes, it is. So I
So
guess you have to just check the FDA, or you could go directly to the FDA website yourself. I mean, I was just so happened to be on Instagram, and a video popped up about the recall, but then I went on the FDA website and there were others to include the crackers and the cucumbers. So make sure you're doing your due diligence and checking the website yourselves.
that is very smart. I love that idea. So FDA.gov definitely has that information for sure. That is
Mhm.
awesome. So, pivoting over to a positive, a more positive note, right? This month we have a lot going on. We have Father's Day. So, if you haven't thought about your daddy yet, it's time because we have less than after this weekend. You don't even have 2 full weeks, to be honest with you, because it's on the 15th of June, which is on a Sunday. So
Mhm.
piensa en papi, papi's done a lot for you. So es tiempo para comprar unos regalitos, unos regalos. Y si no tienes dinero, if you don't have money, make ways to go and spend time with the person, right? Cook them a dinner, cook dad a dinner or something, play a game. There's different creative ways to bond with dad. So Nadine, do you have any ideas that people can think about when for Father's Day, how to bond and if just fun activities or fun things to do with dad?
No, not off the top of my head.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. It is all good. So, in addition to being Father's Day this month, we also have National PTSD Awareness Month. So,
Yes.
Awareness Month of June brings that attention to post traumatic stress disorder and encourages the support for those affected, including veterans and trauma survivors. We have Men's Health Month in June that focuses on raising awareness about preventable health problems and encouraging early detection and treatment among men and boys. Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month promotes awareness of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia and encourages brain health. And also National Migraine and Headache Awareness Month. So aims to raise that public knowledge about migraine, cluster, and other headache disorders. So a lot going on. We're definitely going to be elaborating more on those topics throughout the month of June. So you got to stay tuned to Oyandia future episodes for that. So we won't dive too deep into that today. Uh,
Mhm.
we do have two special guests patiently waiting behind the scenes. Before I bring them on, Nadine, any other topics that you want to bring up or talk about before I bring our two special guests on?
No, that was it that we made because that's a lot to cover. So I don't have anything right now. Maybe I do, maybe later on, because I think I
Okay.
did something else, but I have to go back and backtrack to see it.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Sounds good. All right. So, on today's episode, our two guests bring heart, humor, and high vibes. Yeah. So, what do you get when you combine a stunning diva who models, acts, and designs with effortless flair? The answer is a powerhouse host known as Karina Beltre Yancy. She's elegance, talent, and creativity wrapped into one dynamic presence. Every great story needs a contrast, right? And that's where the sharp wit of and comedic edge of PJ Yancy comes in. Together, this dynamic duo, a married pair of unmatched charisma and energy, are a force to be reckoned with. You can't have a sweet without a little tart, and you can't overlook the undeniable chemistry and passion that they both bring to everything that they touch. So, this episode, we're going to definitely have that heart, humor, and high vibes. And so, without further ado, I'm going to bring on our two special guests. Karina and PJ, welcome to Hoy en Día TV.
He's acting like a fool already. What's up, mommy? How are you?
Wait a minute. Where is that the back of his head or the front of his head? What's going on here?
I don't know.
That is so funny.
I don't know. He wants
How
to.
y'all
What
doing?
are
How's
you okay?
So we're good. I mean, obviously for a rainy Thursday, it's like lounging kind of day.
We're on? Oh, I thought I was still in the green room. Good
Oh,
morning.
yeah. Funny, funny. I love it. So that bio was very fun, but I'm going to definitely allow each of you to really tell us who you say you are. The bio says one thing, but who does Karina say she is? And who does PJ say he is? Ladies first, of course.
So me, I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I love to cook. I love to entertain people. And I'm overall loving person. I love people in general. And I mean, the other things that I do, that's sidebar, but really at the core, I'm just a person who just loves.
That's beautiful. Love
Well,
people. Absolutely. We need more of the love of people for sure in this world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
PJ, how about you? Who do
Well,
you say PJ Yancy is?
um, he's a lover. He's a sinner. He's a midnight toker. With his music in the sun. He's a father. He's a husband. He's an enigma
Ah.
in a midnight toker.
You already said that.
I had to think about
He wanted to make sure we heard that. Yeah, he wanted to make sure of that.
it.
Yes.
And I'm a drinker.
you're a drinker.
I'm drinking
Right.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
how did you two meet? Tell us this background, this beautiful love story that you both have. Because I agree, you both have this amazing chemistry. And look at Karina. She's like, oh God.
God. Well, I mean, we've been together since '98,
Wow.
but we've been married since '03. So we've been together quite some time.
Wow.
A nice quarter of a century, if you want to, think about it that way. We met at this department store called Ames. It was kind of like a Kohl's type of store back in Saugus, Massachusetts. I'm from Massachusetts, and so is he, but he left for a while. And then when he came back, that's when, we met at a department store. And, he took me out to lunch every day. And I thought he was really, really funny. He had the best sense of humor, still does. And then, I would take him out to parties with me because, again, he was really fun to have around. And, I was going through a really bad breakup, and he would cover up for me when I used to tell my mom that I was hanging with him, but I was actually going to my ex. And then one day my ex stood me up and I called him crying. And in the end, he was always doing all the right things for me. And I literally was like, wait a minute, I wanted my ex to do what he was doing. And I just gave him a chance. And here we are.
That is beautiful. I love that.
But it comes with its ups and downs. So, I mean, it's not easy staying. It's easy to leave. To stay, it's pretty hefty, especially as we've evolved, because we've evolved quite a few times in these 25 plus years. We've changed. So
Right.
to try to stay together as we evolve brings a very hard set of challenges, as we grow as individuals and then as a married couple. So it's not for the faint. It's not, because I sure hell's ain't perfect. I am not perfect. I mean, no one is, but I mean, like, I'm a lot, and it's. I don't know. You got to tell your little side over there, but it's a
Yeah,
lot.
PJ. No, I feel you. I agree. I mean, we as humans evolve in general. We grow. Like when
Yeah.
we started off as babies and now we're adults, right? So it's inevitable that people will change. It's just what do you do or how do you pivot to to grow together and change together for the better. So that's beautiful that you brought that up. And that was another reason why I wanted to bring you on too, because you each are your own unique individuals with your own careers, right? And your own things that you do, but then you come together as a unit. And how do you make that work? Right. And so PJ, your side of the story.
Where we starting at, Yana? What we talking about? Well,
how we met and how we've been able to
shooting
last
rap
this long.
videos out on the block. You know, I had a BMW SS. You know what I'm saying? She walked by with the door knockers on. I'm like, yo, what's up, ma? How you doing? My bus pass was on fleet, first class.
That is so funny.
We hopped on the train, had a couple of hot dogs, you know what I'm saying?
We had pizza.
You took her out for pizza on your first date?
No. So next to Ames was a Pizza Hut.
So we worked at the spot, and there was a Pizza Hut. The good ones were all you can eat, you know, for like $6.99 during lunchtime, you know.
So you should take me out to lunch every day.
Come on and snack on over here and get these breadsticks real quick. You know, my marinara sauce. No, when I moved back from Virginia, my aunt got me a job there, and my first day working there, this loud ass person on a ladder just I mean, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Who the fuck is that? So I look up on the ladder, and all you see is guest pants and booty, and then a pair of lugs.
Uggs.
Lugs.
No, they were lugs. Right, they were lugs.
It's hilarious. That is funny.
Like ta-da, you know.
That is awesome.
So from there, huh?
Say what now?
It was history from there.
It started, you know, history got different, different variations. A lot of battles before you get to the war. So yeah, you get there. But it turned, it just spun well, and a lot of times it didn't spin at all. Shit gets stagnant. People change different. No one knows how to be a husband, don't know how to be a wife. So you can hear all the stories and watch all the novellas and everything else you want to watch. That shit ain't real. So when you're actually in the same space with the person and you got to work it out and, break stuff and then buy new stuff. So you start learning yourself as well as the other person. And then you just go from there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Shit.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up because you said sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And so would you agree that that's really at the discretion of that individual and what they feel the limitations are? Because you make it work as far as you want it to work, right? Especially if you're an individual who's willing to grow and change to meet that person where they're at.
Exactly.
But you also got to remember, is it worth it? Because not only is it worth it for the other person, but is it worth it to you? Is your frame of mind gonna be the cool? You're gonna be able to get through whatever the situation is. Are you sure about it? That part. It's easy to go, you know what, screw you. You go your way, I go my way. That's not hard. That shit's easy. That's an easy pass. But to sit there and go, all right, we're gonna try to work this out until we can't get it. It's like taking the car apart. You got one little squeak and we're taking everything out for one squeak just to make sure nothing else needs to be oiled. It was already squeaking we didn't hear about. And you got to work, and then rebuild it. And when you rebuild it, it should be better. The bond should be stronger. And, you have the same car, but a better version of that car.
Absolutely. That is a really good example that you use right there. That's very relatable. You're not going to trade in your whole car just because you have a squeaky tire or, like the tire's flat. Just replace a tire and keep it going, right? So that
a spark plug. Just be a spark plug, and then you go return the whole car just because of a little spark plug, right?
That's it.
So, Karina, I know with your background, you are an actress, model, designer. So tell us a little bit of how you got started in that industry. And then from there, we'll also pivot over to PJ with telling us his industry. And then my follow-up question to when you both share that is, how do you make it work? So, yeah.
So
I'm going to show you.
So I used to do theater in high school, and I used to do musicals. So I came from a dancing background. So I started dancing when I was 13 years old. So the stage in itself is not something that I'm unfamiliar with at all. I've done Jesus Christ Superstar. I've done Grease. I've done West Side Story. I've done so many plays here and there, and some of them were musicals. So I like to, I used to like to sing and do all that. And of course, in 98, I became a mom. And I mean, 99, I'm sorry. I became 99.
99.
Yeah. So, once the whole parenting part comes in, your life gets on hold. I gained weight. I was 336 pounds, and I'm kind of skimming. I'm skimming. All right. Depression, anxiety, postpartum depression, dealing with a toxic family. And then in 2009, I got really sick. I had a hysterectomy. Basically before I turned 30. I couldn't have any children, had a gastric bypass not long after that. And, that was 15 years ago. And so then, with modeling, I started doing it with my beautiful friend, Nicole Shields, from my church, Wake Chapel Church. And she was doing this cute little fashion show back in 2018. And she was like, hey, you have a good sense of style. Would you like to be in my show? And that was pretty much the beginning of that. And through Nicole, I did shows. I was a makeup artist for Tim Johnson's show, a few shows, even one of the Lamont shows. I think it was one of the Wakanda shows. I did makeup for that. And then in 21, my friend Penny Richardson introduced me to Keith Powell from LEP Entertainment, and we started doing movies. So we got movies on Tubi, we got movies on Prime, I got movies on YouTube. I've worked with Sergio and Sean. So, we got we got the 20 band stuff going on. So I've been, I've worked with Denny Ann. So I literally have a whole bunch of stuff everywhere that's not even modeling related. I've been in countless magazines. Big Boy, which one?
The Play.
Oh yes, Eric. Oh yeah, my God, Eric Swindell. I've worked with him, and he's an amazing writer. So there is literally so much that I've done in these past 6 years that honestly, the fact that I've slowed down a little this year I literally had to sit and reflect on all the stuff that I've done, and it's all cool. I mean, but it comes with its ups and its downs. It adds to the depression and the anxiety because you want to fit in, and in the modeling industry, it's really fickle. People are really cliquey. There's some fakeness going on. People using each other. You already know. So it doesn't help when you come from a toxic family, and the fact that I suffer from depression. Then you have work, family, kids. You can just add on to the strongholds that we all face. But honestly, I like acting more than anything else. So I love it.
Wow.
Design was out of sheer luck.
Designing was pure luck. So what do you mean pure luck? What happened there?
It wasn't something that I was looking for. So I met this beautiful woman by the name of Naira Love of Naira Love's Fashion Boutique, and she's out of Charlotte. And I did a show for her. And then I was doing an audition last year for The Wiz, and she was actually like the coordinator of the show part, the acting, and she needed stylists to help style these shows that she was going to do for The Wiz. So I had to audition as a model, as an actress, and then as a stylist. And I pretty much got all of it. And that reel from just that audition went viral, a little viral. And somebody from Charlotte literally hit me up. Hey, I want you to do a show. Then my girl Ava from B5 Beauty saw then that reel from that little first event. And then she asked me to come to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for B5 Beauty. For oh my God, what's the name of the show? Flavors of Fashion. Oh my God. Yeah. So we're actually going again this month for the second year. And then from there I got Skip and Miss Jen from Runway of Hope. Then you have obviously Elite from Miss Shawnee. It was something that, please, like, it was not in my radar, but I like trying new things. So, you always, and it gives me a reason to buy more shoes, more clothes, more accessories.
Wow, Karina. So with you being a mom, how do you balance all these things that you're doing?
So the good part about that is that my kids are older. My oldest is 25. My daughter, it will be 21 next month. So when I started, let's say, the modeling stuff in 2018, my son had already graduated high school and my daughter was about to enter high school. So if you would have put this life with them being smaller, then I wouldn't have been able to accomplish these things. The fact that my kids were pretty much raised, I thought about is it's my turn to do me type of mentality. And because, they weren't little anymore. So you give yourself enough or so much with your children that I was like, I had to say, it's fuck it. It's my turn. Y'all are good.
That is awesome. Yes, I love that background, and there's so many questions that popped up in my head with regards to just everything that you've dealt with, and I really appreciate the transparency and you being up and honest, because this is what life is, right? Life is the ups and the downs. All the shades of color, red, orange, black, pink, purple, blue, green, whatever. So thank you for being transparent and sharing that with us. I definitely appreciate that. So PJ, how about tell us a little bit about you, your background. You're obviously a comedian, so so tell us about that. Come on.
I find and to fine tune the art of entertainment. I study at the halls of Juilliard. San Francisco Performing Arts School, Navy SEAL, and Rescue Ranger. With all that, still finding time to tend to the garden, help the children, prepare their soliloquy, and watch them progress.
I love the accent that you are projecting right now.
and the Navy SEAL part too.
I like Dutch. No, I'm a jock. The modeling and the acting, cutting the fool is always something that we always done from up north anyway. So if you ain't had the best cracks on the bus, it was a long ride to school, and it was a longer ride home. So everybody had to be pretty sharp. And I used to get out of trouble in school. That's where it started. The teachers would laugh, principal would laugh. I go back to class. Nobody knows nothing. It was a great system for quite a while.
So you utilize comedy to get through that.
Oh yeah, you can. Oh yeah, hell yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But doing it like I'm doing it now, one of those dreams, kind of like Kay said, like with luck with different scenarios. We were doing a movie with a young lady, and she had started comedy, and I love comedy. I watch everything, but I study it. Yeah, I don't just watch it. There's a technique of doing it, and she was doing her first show sarcastically and under the influence of substances. I was like, yeah, put me on your show. And then she was like, all right. And then next thing you know, I had a flyer and I was on the show. So it was like, put up or shut up then. So like all my family came down from Virginia. It was crazy. It was mad. My barbershop was there. It was crazy. Everybody was there. But it was love, and it was good to see people come through and actually try to, support something that you're doing. So I did that, and that got me into a comedy competition in Fayetteville, where I met H.L. Boney of the Morning Boney Show here in Raleigh on Oak 93.5. He said he needed another co-host because his guy was leaving. He think I'd be good, come up for audition. So a couple months later, I came up for audition. I was on the air for a year and some change. I just went back a couple weeks ago. So, and we were doing that 5 days a week. So again, something that I always talked about what I wanted to do when I was doing it. I was on the FM station radio live every day. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. So, and then then I had my podcast that started during COVID. That was fresh. We do it in and out called Holla at Your Uncle. You see it. We outside.
Holla at your uncle. Yes.
So that started going well. So it just turnstile. Then the modeling thing with Kay, I did that out of spite. I do modeling out of spite. And I'm going to tell you why. Ain't none of these some bitches paying me nothing. You ain't gonna sit out back and hoot and holler about some stuff, and because you got a couple chairs sold and you got your car payment for the month, you didn't give me no cookie. So you know what? When I get on the damn runway, I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do. You ain't gonna get me down off that runway, and believe it. I tell the models in the back, take your ass up there and have fun. Damn model, you ain't going to Paris. You don't even go to Clayton. You damn sure don't go to Rocky Mountain. Some of them ain't been outside the state line. So
food for thought. Food for thought.
Up and down, doing all this up and down like you're doing something. Go on, you entertainment. Go have some fun, and that's why I do it. And I do it for the big guys because you know what? A lot of time we overlook until winter, and getting tired of y'all. You know, we have summer bodies too, just like y'all do, and we're gonna show it. I don't the bod. Now I don't swim in no shirt. You're gonna see all of this gloriousness. Now when I played ball, I was extra sexy. Now I'm just sexy and fluffy. It don't mean nothing. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you like that. So anybody got a problem, you come see me. I got some big friends. We ain't going down without a fight. What's the next question?
Awesome. That is awesome. So, what are some of the most what is one or several other things that you admire most about your partner?
Who, me or her?
Both. I want to hear from both perspectives.
Laugh. Still.
She cooks food.
She cooks food.
Wait through a man's heart through his stomach.
I cook for a living, so you know I gotta cook for hundreds or thousands of people every single day. So, but no, she's not afraid to try shit. I'll try that, or let's ride that, or let's try that. And I gotta say that I'm very reserved. I'm like, yeah, I gotta know everything. I gotta know the ins and out. Why we doing it? Who's doing it? How much they getting? What's their cut? I gotta know everything. And that's just how I am. And then she helps me lower that guard down and just say, fuck it. All right, I'm gonna ride a roller coaster, or I'm gonna do something that I don't want to do or not going to do. And she's very loving. She means people with an open heart, and that's cool. I don't do that. I can talk to you today, see you tomorrow. If you don't say hi, I won't say hi. But I probably wouldn't remember you. Like, it's out of sight, out of mind. Shut up.
Dogs.
So she teaches me to be a little bit more kind to the people, I guess. And like a lot of people that know her that don't know me, and I used to hate it. I'll be in the store like, aren't you Karina's husband? Like, fuck you touching me? Like, you don't know. Almost white women. Like, what's wrong with y'all? And and she's like, oh, don't take it personal, X, Y, and Z. So that does help out. So I definitely admire that. And like when she locks in, that can be a little intense,
Yeah.
But she locks in with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? So that part you got to commend on that half. But and like I said,
my oldest.
Yeah, little big baby.
All the chickens are outside.
I think that's it. It's just
that's good that you were able to break that down and tell us about that. So that's beautiful that you.
And she's funny.
No. I was not funny when you met me though.
No,
so,
you were lame.
No, I was lame as hell.
Lame.
So I think a lot of his comedy or a lot of his humor has rubbed off on me over the years. I was not funny at all.
She couldn't catch a clue if you gave her the box, and she look at the box like, "Fuck is this clue?" Like and it was innocent. It wasn't nothing bad enough. It was just I'm quick with it. I shoot from the hip. Jesse. Pow! I get you. And I don't discriminate. 8 through 80, everybody can catch it. 8 through 80, I'll make babies cry, and it make me no difference.
PJ.
No, never mind. No,
Karina, how about you? What's several things that you appreciate or admire about your partner, your husband?
So, I mean, again, first and foremost, he makes me laugh. His I want to say the fact that the way he's loved me through the years He cared about me in ways that I never imagined, which is why, looking back at 18, I gave him a chance. And
Oh, the other 50-50. They do the tango.
yeah, but
Giving it chances. Are we doing chances?
yeah, but
Okay.
I really wasn't,
It's your question. Just go ahead. I'm sorry. Shut the hell up. Hey,
he
chance.
Hilarious.
he's
Yes.
always displayed his love for me. And again, I can't say that his love for me has remained the same. It's changed, but evolved into something deeper. And we were always really cool friends first, and that still remains. One of the things that we are is friends, and sometimes we take off our marital hat, and we talk to each other like friends, not like husband and wife, because especially when things get rough, and especially when we don't meet eye to eye on certain things. So we don't always agree on I'm gonna say a lot of things. So we, again, as husband and wife, will just take that title off for a minute, and we'll have these conversations as friends to at least try to understand each other, or where we're coming from, and trying to understand each other's point of view. And again, through time, as we grow as individuals and have life experiences, that even that changes. Does that make sense? So just
Mhm.
because, again, I'm not the same girl that I was in 98, but then again, I wasn't the same girl in 2000 as 98, or 2005, 2007. So a lot, we have evolved, and one of the things is that we've remained together in spite of. We've been through hell and back. I mean, we've been successful, we've been at the top, and we've failed, we've hit rock bottom. And we've tried to give up and quit. you know Divorce was on the table even at some point, before our 10-year anniversary. And then he was like, oh, let's renew our vows. And I'm like, wait, how is that going to fix everything? So here you go, like he was saying earlier, trying to, what can we do to fix it instead of giving up? So we again went through that metamorphosis where we decided to, okay, let's work it out. And we grew stronger and we loved each other. And then here, and we were back at a crossroads again not too long ago, especially with everything that we've been doing. That's another evolution. So you bump heads again. So one of the things that I do love is that we are able to speak as friends and grow as friends, and to be able to have the fucking tough conversations. A lot of the things that we discuss are or are conversations and topics that most people don't even want to talk to their friends about, let alone their spouse. So it can get really, really hard, especially when you don't understand why your spouse feels the way they do. But
Right.
and
Right.
in the same breath, you're also uncovering old dirt and old pain, old memories and things.
Boxes in the closet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Skeletons in the closet, because sometimes we suppress a lot of our pain that obviously then comes out into our adulthood and our personalities. And so there are things in our childhood that we experienced that we either suppressed or didn't want to talk about. So especially at the beginning, but here we are now 20 years later, and we're having these conversations about the shit that we went through as children, and why we did things now as adults. Because at the end of the day, all that shit, eventually it comes up. It literally erupts, or it brings a certain characteristic within, I'm going to say within me, that I didn't know I had. And I mean, it's a lot. What I love about him and us is just the fact that we are able to go through the fucking storm, and we don't hide it. I mean, we don't um make people think that things are hunky dory. We're pretty open, especially with our friends, that things are rough. it's not everyone's business, but at the end of the day, we go through some shit.
Right.
And,
Right.
But I think some people think that we probably wouldn't have been able to make it, and here we are still. So, and again, we've been through a lot together. So, you don't want to leave your boy out, out to dry. And a lot of people don't understand that. Some people just look at the success part, of your life and think that there was nothing bad or negative or hard at the beginning. And
Right.
I think that the more I'm going to say the more struggles we go through together, the stronger it makes us for the next task.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So, it's pretty awesome. I mean, when you look at it, I'm very, very blessed.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
they see your glory, but they don't know your story.
Yep. I like that.
So, Karina, listening to you, what I captured is that it's very important for any relationship to have that friendship foundation, because friendship was really going to maintain that strong bond. And
So
would you agree with that?
I'm gonna say, because it's worked for me, and
Mhm.
and one thing I did forget, I'm a really good friend, so I'm able to sustain friendships for long periods of time. But again, um, you change,
Right.
and you gotta love, even if that doesn't necessarily mean the spouse. You gotta love that friend through their changes. And
Right.
true friendships are like marriages. They're not always gonna be. It's not always gonna be great. We're gonna go through the fights. We're gonna have disagreements. So, friendships to me are almost just as important as my marriage. And sometimes, certain relationships are not what they were. Again, as you evolve, and it's sad because you invested so many years into a friendship, and then it didn't end up being what you thought it was. Because I mean, I want to grow old with my friends. I do.
Right.
As cheesy as it sounds, I do. I want to grow old with my friends.
Yep, we're gonna have Medicare parties. Hey, nurse.
You know what?
It's,
PJ, that's actually really genius. That's actually a good niche. Let's explore that a little bit more. I mean, you know how many people come out?
hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
That would work.
It's very simple, Since we're gonna be old anyway, you just spin the bottle and whatever pill you get, fuck it. It's going down with a shot. I mean, only thing that can happen is I can grow breasts at 80. I mean, if I take an estrogen pill or something.
Please don't. Please don't.
Not.
Yeah, that low pressure be a high pressure, be all types of pressure going on in there.
Before you ask a question, because it's getting dark. It's getting dark.
Yeah.
All right. I know one of the things that you, because I wrote down your topics so that we can answer those if we have time. But as far as like food and stuff,
chicken.
So I want to tell you, I started gardening. Not we. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, we started gardening.
What about me? Wow.
And we can dive deeper into it, but I'm gonna try to skim it real quick. I've always been a cook. I love to cook, and I've always made a lot of things from scratch myself. I never really raised my kids in fast food. I mean, they're probably eating more fast food now because they work and they got their own money, so they can do whatever they want with their money. But I was pretty much a mom who cooked all the time, and sometimes, depending on the season, I would make even my own tomato sauces. So when I tell you, to me, making my own food and meal prepping is not a hard thing.
It's a lot of Tupperware.
But yes, it's a lot of Tupperware. So I've always been that mom that pretty much, I didn't really raise my kids on processed food. But anyway, so recently with the whole egg situation happening, my daughter has a best friend who has eggs.
Don't say her name. Can't say her name.
I can't say her name. Anyway, so we started buying her eggs, and her fresh eggs were so delicious. So good.
Exquisite.
And so it got us into talking about getting our own chicken coop, right? I've always wanted a chicken coop since I was a little girl because my grandfather used to hook me up in Santo Domingo. You know, he used to have little chicks and ducks and all that stuff for me. But anyway, I managed on a Friday. We went to Tractor Supply, and I said, "Oh, let's go look at the chicks. Yeah, you just want to see what they look like." Well, we walked out with 6.
Wow.
That is awesome.
So here we are, and then 2 weeks later, we went to buy more feed, and we bought 2 more chicks. So now we have 8.
Oh wow. Well, at least you got your own eggs.
It's the shirt, Chicken Mom.
Ah,
That is amazing.
So,
Yes.
but on top of that, I went and got a lot of herbs. So then on a weekend we started growing. So we have
Planting.
planting. So
Name
we
it,
went
girl.
and got like
Total
sage and
66.
rosemary. Come on,
My bad.
sage and rosemary and oregano. We have a whole bunch of tomatoes, jalapenos, watermelon. What else? Melon.
Hungarian peppers.
Yep.
Ghost peppers.
Yeah, ghost peppers.
so you just bought the seeds, right? And then
Yep.
plant the seeds.
Yep. So we got a little garden going on back there now. We want to expand, but obviously we want to start slow. And
Right.
so the 6 chicks are a month old, and then the other 2 chicks are on their 3rd week right now. So I have been busy being a mom of 8 because raising these little chicks is like actually being a mom all over again. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that real quick. We're gonna have to bring them in soon. The 6, we're gonna have to bring them in soon because it's getting dark. So I wanted to say that before we lost time.
So,
But anyway,
when
Gotcha.
the chicks get big, right? Are you gonna cook them and eat them?
no, we're
No.
doing it for the eggs.
No, these are eggs.
That's for eggs.
For the eggs. Mhm.
When I grew up in Jamaica, raising like we had chickens too, so I'm familiar with that. But I was small. I came to the States when I was 13, but you know, my mom and my brothers, we had chicken.
Yeah, we don't have any for beef yet, but we were looking. We looked into it because I mean the quality of what you're going to get out of it is going to yield tenfold, but also you know what you
Let me
put
see if
into
I can
it.
get the 2 baby ones out. Hold on.
Man, and get action out.
And you get fresh eggs.
That is amazing. Yes,
They're
I love
little
that.
dinosaurs. They're evil. Watch, you'll see.
You said, who's evil? The little chicks?
Yeah, look.
Do they chase you? What do you mean they're evil?
They're little raptors. They're little. Get off the keyboard.
Come here. Bring them to me.
Oh,
This is Ella.
so cute.
They're huge. They are big. What in the world?
So this is Ella. So the other ones are bigger. The first 6 are bigger than them right now.
And those are 3 weeks old?
Yeah.
Those
And-
are
yeah.
huge.
Right. Why I imagine they were gonna be these nice little
Oh, they were little.
yellow. No, I mean I was thinking that they were gonna be yellow.
Yeah,
no,
me
no,
too. I was thinking that too.
No, those are. She's talking about them.
Oh
Are they yellow?
no, these were
Remember
black.
No, I see it, but I said before you came out, I thought they were gonna be yellow. You know.
Yellow.
Oh no, they're way past the yellow stage.
So the yellow stage means what? They were just like recently
Baby
born? Is
chicks.
that what?
Yep.
Oh.
Baby
Oh,
chicks.
wow.
So these were black. This is why I bought these 2 weeks later because I was like, oh my god, they got these little black chicks.
It had to be a
And-
DEI hire for chicks,
Oh.
so we had to make sure we covered all nationalities. We have yellow chicks, brown and rustic orange chicks, and now we have the 2 black chicks, and we have a mulatto. So we have
Yeah.
covered the spectrum.
Yeah.
That
No white
is
chick,
so
though.
cool. I love
That is
it.
funny.
Still no white
Yeah,
chick.
that's
Wait,
really, really
Rodriguez is white chick.
We have a half white chick. Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
But anyway, like these were black, but the other ones were yellow when we first got them, and obviously now they're changing into their color. So you know we have baby girl, and we have Rodiga, we have peanut bagel.
Rodiga.
Yeah, Rodiga, because she likes to dig, so I named her after Rodiga the rapper, and Pippi after Pippi Longstocking.
No.
Oh.
Yep.
So eventually, are you going to sell the eggs?
We'll
Yeah,
see.
we're gonna.
We will.
Hey,
We
don't even
will.
worry about that. So we're gonna be doing $5 dozens. Starting in August. Now if you get it, you might luck out, get a blue egg, You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna raise the price. That's a gift from me to you. Not everybody gonna get a blue egg. So you know what I'm saying? We'll be outside. We'll let you know.
Oh yeah, Snickers has the blue eggs.
What is a blue egg? There's a blue egg. Wait a
What is a
minute.
blue egg?
So the chicken called the cream leghorn chicken. I believe that's the name of it. And they lay blue eggs. Now their eggs are a little bit more meatier in texture, so they cook up nice and fluffy. It's a good egg. It's a hard to come by. So
I've never heard of the blue egg.
be on the lookout.
That is impressive.
You gotta look for the golden egg now.
That's it. But you can follow them though on Instagram. They got their own Instagram page.
Yeah, we're gonna start putting their own Instagram. Yeah, we're gonna because they are quite
and
the character.
They like TikTok a lot. They like selfie mode. They'll sit there all day in selfie mode and just play with the camera. So, they got a few hundred people over there. They outside. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned.
Wow.
So these are very attached to me.
I see.
Yeah, they're very, very attached to me. They're very.
So when you bring them in, do they just roam the house, or do you keep them somewhere?
No. They have a little condo. They have a chicken coop in here right now because technically they can't be outside until they're 8 weeks old, and I'm talking about the first 6, because they still can't really regulate their own body temperature. And we just got the coop for outside recently, but we still haven't finished predator proofing that chicken coop where we can leave them all the time. And
I was just about to ask you about snakes and stuff like that. I don't know what area you were in, so I was just about to ask about.
I got something for them. Don't you worry. I got something for them.
Right there.
It's right by the door.
Yep. So, but yeah,
it's brand new. I'm about to put a light on it. Hiya.
Okay.
So
that
when
is awesome.
So when you talked about growing our own stuff, I'm like, oh my god! I was like, I'm over here planting. We're over here doing stuff, and then also growing some chicks. It's so weird that you talked about that. I'm like,
and that's perfect because I'm glad you're doing that because you are proving that people can do it, right? It's just you making the time, the effort, and putting that energy into it because a lot of foods that we're eating is garbage. I'm sorry, it's poison. It's poisoning our bodies. That's why a lot of people are having a lot of health issues. And so what better way for you all at home, viewers and listeners, to grow your own food and know what you're really putting into your bodies?
Yeah.
Oh my God, wish Cece were here because Cece always wanted to do that. The topic we're talking about, she always wanted to do all the, the organic stuff, natural stuff, have her own garden and the chicken. She'd have loved this, but I'm sure, she's gonna watch it.
Chickens,
to be honest, for the past
since
the end of April, I've right now my feed and my research has been gardening stuff and obviously chick stuff. So modeling hasn't really been a priority for me this year. It's not that I'm not doing it or not showcasing. It's just that I'm finding other joys. Other joys. And to be honest, as weird as it sounds, the gardening and the chicks have brought me so much peace. Especially like I said, I suffer from depression and anxiety. I'm on medication. I've never been against medication, but I never took the medication through all these years until this year in January. I started taking medication because I felt that I couldn't handle the stress anymore mentally. And I needed help. And I do therapy as well. I think, therapy is also very good because it also helps you again discover the underlying problem of things. But it wasn't to me, even though it wasn't enough. So, to kind of step back a little bit from, again, the movies, the shows. And again, it's not that I'm not doing it. I'm just not devoting every weekend of my life now to a show or shoot or a rehearsal or filming. I now have a more free time to do whatever I want on a Saturday. And we've chosen to be home, be us, get away from, that environment for a little bit. I mean, we're filming this Saturday, but we haven't done a movie this year yet. Actually, no, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But again, everything is it's in sprinkles now. It's not, like I said, it's not literally taking over the schedule. But again, having the chicks has brought me so much peace of mind. And but on top of that, we're going to try to grow things and make our own, have our own eggs and stuff and see where it goes. And it's another adventure in our lives, because I thought we were going to sit here and grow chickens.
I can tell you that.
I was thinking about, Karina, what about, since they're attached to you, maybe you should start practicing walking down the runway with the chicks.
You know what? If I could do that, I would.
These psychopaths like their own freedom. They don't want. They are not.
I would do it if I could do it.
Yes.
That'd be so cool if you can like domesticate them and put them on like leashes and have them like.
They have chicken leashes. Can you believe it?
Thank you, Jess. I appreciate that.
They do.
Thank you. Thank
They
you.
do.
Let me put a thumbs down in the comment section because this is.
Hey! Give y'all ideas here.
Don't do that.
But
that would be funny. That would be great. That
would be great, especially for like a photo shoot. Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
because we're used to people having their dogs, but what about the chickens? Right? They need love too.
That part.
Yes, you are
so
amazing.
Get ready for all the chicken shirts, because I'm gonna be taking a lot of pictures with my chicken shirts. Okay,
yes.
And whoever's got a problem with it, I don't know. I don't really care. But it's been so far. I have again devoted, besides lifing and working. I've been devoting a lot of my free time to, these babies and the backyard. It's good. Yeah.
That is awesome. And I'm really glad that you sat back and you really gauged at everything and and reprioritize your life. It sounds like you're making more time for family, for each other, for yourself as well, which is more important, right? Self-love, self-reflection. And so that's a beautiful thing. And that's definitely something else I definitely encourage the viewers and listeners to really. We've learned so many amazing things in this short time, just about the power of love, the power of pushing through when times get hard, the power of gauging your mental health and really stepping back to gauge everything and reprioritize yourself, because you have to be your best version of yourself before you can give and pour out to others. So we've learned so many amazing just knowledge, food for thought. So thank you for really being transparent and sharing and pouring a little bit of who you are, both are, to us, to the audience and listeners, and really helping them from a life and lifestyle perspective. So that's definitely important.
And to be a rhythm lifestyle, that's, my brand, my logo, rhythm lifestyle encompasses so much. I know a lot of people say, oh, you got to find your niche. But at the end of the day, for me, I don't think I have a niche. For me is I love beauty. I love health. I love fashion, right? But I love friendship. I love going out to dinner. I love communion with friends or communion with my husband. So there's a lot of things that, and then obviously there's my faith, there's prayer, so, or music, whatever helps me. So for me, I don't have a niche. It's a rhythm lifestyle is what makes, my own rhythm, but then I want to help other people find theirs, because at the end of the day, there is a stigma, depending on your environment, there is a stigma of how you're supposed to be, right? So, I want to encourage people to live their authentic self, whatever that is for them. And again, it's not necessarily one thing. I am so multi-layered that, again, I love to cook, and I cook really good, so sometimes I find cooking therapeutic. Sometimes I find Zumba, I used to be a Zumba instructor. I find Zumba therapeutic, or modeling therapeutic, or a fashion show, or doing someone's makeup therapeutic. It depends on what my mood is that day.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's amazing, Karina.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, because like there's a lot of models and stuff, upcoming models. What advice would you give somebody, a model and a new entrepreneur coming up?
Do your research. Do your research. And to be honest, And I think, and I'm going to use that term, do your research, even with the topic of discussion of the NCDOR. A lot of people, we as people, we're lazy. We don't want to do our own research. You want to hit up, a friend and ask them, well, what you know. And again, I'm not saying that having a friend that knows a little bit is not, not reaching out to them, but people really need to be more responsible to take accountability for themselves and stop blaming others for the things that they don't know. When, now that we live in this world, in this Google world, don't tell me that you don't know how to do anything. That is the bullshit ass fucking excuse. I tell my kids the same thing. Oh, mom, I don't know. I said, nigga, you got YouTube. You got fucking YouTube. I didn't have fucking YouTube. We had Encyclopedia Britannica and recipe books, okay? And maybe some cooking shows and some, home ec shows here and there or whatever. In this world we live in, it is absolutely asinine when someone fucking tells me that they don't know how to do something. The information is at our fucking fingertips, and people don't do your research. So back to modeling, you got to do your research. A lot of people here are going to sell you this bullshit ass dream, and they're going to say this bullshit ass stuff that they're going to tell you that they're going to do some things for you, and they don't. And at the end of the day, if you do your own research, you can do the damn shit yourself. And that was one of the things that I accomplished doing my own research. I've been on a billboard in Times Square. I've been in so many fucking magazines. I lost track, and it gets boring. People are cliquey. There's just so much. Do your research. Research and try to pick decent people. And even that in this environment is hard because, again, you have so many snakes that are lingering that, they are looking to bite someone. I've been bitten quite a few times. So, but also I don't want to sit there and blame them. It was also my
We gotta go get them birds.
oh yeah, we do. The fact that I've been gullible because I love too much and care too much and think, have the benefit of the doubt in people and, always try to find the good in people. And I've been able to, get burned quite a few times in this particular journey, which is another reason why I've stepped back. I was a person, and I didn't realize this is through therapy. I didn't know I didn't have any boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm a people pleaser. And again, these are all things discovered through therapy.
Yeah.
So now I am evolving, and as I'm learning about myself more, I am, now I'm no longer a people pleaser. I now have boundaries. Again, hard, but and that also is something that doesn't sit well with people because you're so used to being available, and so people have access, and now you don't.
Right.
And it's not personal. I'm working on me.
It's
right
these
now.
your nose.
Right. Yeah. No, that's definitely makes sense for sure.
But do your research and try to find yourself a decent photographer, some decent friends that can, guide you along the way, because again, you can't do it alone. But still do your research. Again, a lot of these people are going to sell you this dream and they're going to overcharge you. There's a lot of money hackling going on. Technically, a lot of these producers make money off of models. They make money on your on the fact that you don't know anything about what's going on. So because you're gullible and stupid, I'm gonna say it, gullible and stupid, you're gonna be taken advantage of. I just think that and not just that, prepare yourself.
Right.
Have your money bag, have all the things you need. Take a class, invest in yourself, learn how to do your own makeup, so that way you become a model where you have your things together, you have your shoes, your jewelry, all your your underwear, bras, whatever, all those things, right? And sometimes there's models that come in that don't have anything, and again, to me, don't call yourself a model then, because you ain't got your shit together. That's just me.
That part right there, I agree. Yeah, it's one of those things where with modeling, you have to prep yourself. You have to be prepared. Like you said, Karina, do your homework. Know what you're getting into. understanding that, like you also mentioned, there's going to be vultures and snakes out there that are really going
Yep.
to take advantage. So you make some valid points, and so definitely I echo all the words that you're saying. Definitely do your homework and know
Yeah.
what you're getting into, and really, and don't be afraid to ask questions too, right? Because
No.
once you start asking questions, if you notice the other person kind of getting uncomfortable and they're like, that's when that's like your little radar, like it's like, this is BS happening here, like something
Yeah.
ain't right.
The
Walk
flag
away. Walk away if that's the case.
Walk away. But see, so for me, because I was stupid, because I'm gonna say it, stupid or ignorant to that, I didn't walk away. You see what I mean? So I got taken advantage of quite a few times. So, I when I say certain things, or if I share a certain story with someone, it's from experience. It's not from like hearsay or someone told me. It's something that I experienced myself in this journey. And but again, when you're a people pleaser and you don't think very highly about yourself, because again, this is an industry of looks and all this stuff. So you second guess yourself a lot doing this. And a person who suffers from depression, there are times that I ask myself, why am I even doing this? Because sometimes it doesn't feel good at all. I have back issues. I have scoliosis. I get sciaticas. So I don't walk straight like, the majority of the models. I can't do twirls and whirls because my body won't allow me to do it. So sometimes so I ask myself, oh, is it because I can't walk, or is it because I can't turn? So then you start second guessing yourself, and it's not a good feeling.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. You said a lot of just
Mm-hmm.
valuable information and just insight for just food for thought for the viewers and listeners. And again, I thank you for being so transparent, so upfront and honest, both of you. Because again, this is part of life that a lot of people are uncomfortable about talking about, and just being realistic and having that hard conversation with yourself, right?
Yeah.
Evaluating yourself. And goes to all the viewers and listeners. Evaluate yourself. Take that time to really, like Karina said, set boundaries. It's okay to have boundaries, right? And really understanding what makes you feel uncomfortable, some type of way, overstimulated, etc. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you said a lot of valuable information.
Yeah.
I know you have to go grab your chicks, so we're gonna go ahead and pivot over to the last minute words and sponsors. So with the last minute words, this is just an opportunity to share with people how they can follow you, any next things coming up. I know you were mentioning about you being a mom to chickens and chicks, which is a beautiful thing. But just anything that you want to share about social media, if you have a quote that you love to share, just any food for thought for last minute word segment here.
So again, my name is Karina Beltre, Karina Beltre, and you will find me the same way on my platforms on Instagram and Facebook. And my email is arhythmlifestyle@gmail.com. And I think on TikTok, I'm Karina Beltre 507. What happened?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, I got pooped on.
You got shitty on.
Oh, well, that's what they do. Food for thought, I'm going to say
Chicken.
evaluate yourself. And if you don't even know where to start, go to therapy and find out who you are. And again, that is not a race. It is a marathon. It's going to be a life thing. And do the things that bring you joy. Don't be afraid to start, try something new, because you never know where it's going to take you. Modeling is a good example for me. Theater and acting, I did that in high school, and then to be given an opportunity to do it again now in my 40s, that's great. But modeling was not something that I ever thought about. So don't be afraid to try anything new, because you never know where you'll end up in that new journey. And don't look at your failures as the end all. A lot of people failed before they got successful. So don't quit on yourself. It's a lot. I mean, there are times I do. I Again, the things I'm saying are easier said than done, but don't quit on yourself. Um, find your inner voice because God is there, in there. Follow your gut. Your gut doesn't lie. Um, and do your research and take accountability for the shit that you do or the shit that you partook in. Because sometimes it's quick to blame someone else, but you also had a role in it too. So you got to take accountability for yourself and stop blaming other people all the time. For me, I figured what the root of the problem was for me and, still working on it. But now I can't blame her for it anymore
Right.
because
Right.
now we know where it came from. So now it's up to me to fix it. So I'm responsible for fixing myself, even though it was their fault to did the damage. It's my responsibility to fix it. It's not their responsibility to fix it. Don't put your joy on people. Joy is within.
That is awesome. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That is definitely deep, thought provoking for sure.
Mm-hmm.
PJ, your last minute words, food for thought, quotes, how people can find you, etc.
What they looking for me for?
They want to support you. You don't want people to support you? You good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watch that. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram, Uncle P40. Either or, I'll be on most. I don't know which one. I like them both. Facebook is just for communicating with old people. So, food for thought. I'm very simple. It's pretty basic. Do what works for you. Don't be afraid to question nothing, no matter who it is. You hold your ground. And I'm not a big friendship kind of person. In the sense of that's my bestie or that's my homeboy, and I don't know that nigga.
That's my sis.
I don't know. I don't know them niggas. I don't know none of they if they ever running credit card scam or PPE loans. I don't know none of that shit and get me caught up. Let's learn about each other. I feel that the best way is someone to verify themselves and show, once they show you who they are, run it, but treat them accordingly. Not everybody's there for you, your best being. So I have no problem being solo. I am cool. Now, if I want to be social, I'll be social. But don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't try to please nobody. That people pleasing shit, that shit's dead a long time ago for some people. It's okay. If they going left, make a right. Because it might be meant for you to make that left. And then you hear about some shit that went down and you weren't nowhere around it. And all you can say is, damn, I'm glad I went right. So make your own decisions, relax and laugh. Talk shit. Laugh at old people. Laugh at kids when they fall down. Enjoy yourself.
Okay.
Laugh at yourself.
I laugh at myself all
Laugh
the
at
time.
yourself all the time. Crack up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life goes by quicker when you make it enjoyable.
Mhm.
You make it what you want it to be, and then you, like you said, you work for it. And sometimes you get an opportunity, you grab it, and you make the best of it. You shake the hell out of that tree. Get as much fruit down as you can, but learn in the process. Learn. The apple's going to hit in the head, but you're still going to pick it up and eat it. Why is that? Because you know it's good for you. And now when you shake it, you move out the way, it hits the ground, they don't hit you in the head, and you still got the goodness of the apple. It's very simple.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. Yes. Enjoy your beverage there.
Absolutely.
Nadine, any last minute words, food for thought, how people can find you, etc.
Yes, as you guys know and see on the screen, my name is Nadine Barton, the author, Navy veteran, entrepreneur, travel agent. You guys could check my books out on nadinebarton.com, as you see it on the screen, NADEAN, Barton, BARTON.com. If you want to catch that book, I have 2 new books available. So if you like to catch your break today, you could check the books out. So whether you're healing, hustling, or hoping for whatever, you know what I mean, you got to just like PJ was saying, you just have to be yourself, just get caught up in the moment, and life will be great, because they say what's the quote, they say life doesn't happen what is it? Life doesn't happen for us; it happened to us. Something like that. Right, exactly. And then my favorite quote is, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react. So always ensure that you keep people kind. And you could always find me on Instagram, Nadia B _1202.
Awesome. Yes. All right. So for you all, viewers and listeners, thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of Hoy en Día TV. Hablamos de todo un poco. We talked about a little bit of everything. I love it. You know, anywhere from just what happened to the NCDOR to the foods to growing and harvesting your own fruits and vegetables. That's definitely important. And we really got to know on a more deeper and intimate level, Karina and PJ. So I want to say thank you again for sharing some helpful tips about just how to maintain a healthy marriage, a healthy relationships. Because like they said, it's going to be ups and downs, but it's about how you make it work. How do you pivot with the waves? How do you go with the flow? How do you make sure, like I always say, I love to say, you're staying in the ring of love, the battlefield of love, right? So you have one boxer here, you're in it together.
You can't fight by yourself.
Yeah, that part. See, yes, you can't fight by yourself. So for those right now who are questioning, what should I do with this relationship, with this situation? You know, really gauge, is it beneficial, like PJ had shared earlier, but understanding that life isn't perfect. You're not perfect. Your couple isn't perfect. Your partner isn't perfect. And so just keeping in mind that treat that person how you would want to be treated, right? And just giving them that space because mistakes are going to happen. How do you grow from that? How do you both grow together? How do you forgive and keep growing and evolving? Because we're not the same people that we were even yesterday. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. Today, my brain grew a lot more. So, you know, so just thinking about that as we're evolving and growing as human beings, to give each other that grace. Like it's okay. Right. It's okay. Things are going to happen. Las cosas en la vida van a pasar, pero cómo tú piensas y cómo vas a crecer de eso is what really matters. And so also shout out to the sponsors. So we have Collective Wear, we have Nadine's Travel Oasis, we have Divine Beauty and Accessories, we have Inspire for Purpose under CC, the Actionist. So we have so many amazing sponsors. I'm going to play a few of the commercials that we have. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy en Día TV, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Available at www.yessirodriguez.com/shop and myrod-enterprise.com/shop.
Dream, explore, discover with Nadine's Travel Oasis. Your next adventure is just a booking away. From breathtaking beaches to vibrant cityscapes, we handle the details so you can make the memories. Luxury, leisure, or last-minute getaways, we've got you covered. Book today and let Nadine's Travel Oasis take you places. All right, so for those who want to be sponsors on Hoy en Día TV, simply email hoyendiatv@gmail.com. Put on the subject line sponsor, and I'll share that information with you. We are a worldwide platform, so not only can you see us visually on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, you can hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Samsung Music, Deezer, RSS, and a bunch of other lists. So just go on our pages and you're going to see a breakdown of all the other stations that we are available so that you can hear us and get inspired, motivarte en la vida, because that's what Hoy en Día is about, to motivate, inspire, enlighten, educate, and entertain you, the viewer and listener, with each and every episode. And for those who want to know more about me, moi, simple, just go on your Google and just type in Yessi Rodriguez. I'm Googleable, you know, thanks be to God. I've worked enough to say, hey, people can easily find me on Google. And with that,
that's dope. I'm like, hey, Google me. I'm out.
Tiana Taylor, that thing, Google Me. You know, there's a song that's called Google Me.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, we'll have to listen to that song. Well, yeah, you can actually, for real, really like pull out your phone and just type in Yesy Rodriguez, and then it'll pop up. And so with that, you'll find my social media handles, my website, just a little bit about me, pretty much, because I'm one of those where I have to be like public and private, because I gotta keep things to myself too. I don't want y'all to be like, oh, I'm not keeping up with the Kardashians. That's not me. Sorry. So anywho, for final words of just food for thought that I always like to say. So for those who didn't know, there is a Kármán line. And what that is a boundary that's 100 kilometers or 62 miles above Earth's sea level. And so with that in mind, that old saying that people always say, the sky's the limit. If you are that, please stop saying that. You know why? Because technically, every time you say that, you're setting yourself a boundary, because that's the Kármán line. That's where the Earth, it cuts off before it goes into outer space. So if you're saying the sky's the limit, you're only limiting yourself to that 62 mile from Earth's sea level to the edge of space. So I came up with a quote back in 2011 that says this: the sky is never the limit, because the galaxies are endless. So with that in mind, into Oyandia TV. Until next time.
Later, Gators.